Hey, what's up? This is Spider Prime 1 back again with another LEGO review. We're back with the 4 Plus sets again. It's been a couple years because the last two that they did after the ATST were Jedi Training Academy focused, and I wasn't very interested in those, so I just skipped them. But we are now back true to form with the Mando and Grogu's N-1 Starfighter set. I love me an N-1. I'm not the biggest fan of the Mandalorian and Grogu. I think Mando is cool in concept, but in execution, it didn't really work for me. And I am very, very done of seeing Grogu on everything. But that is just my personal opinion, my personal take. But I do love me an N-1 Starfighter. That was my favorite ship pretty much out of the prequels. There's a lot of clone era ships that are cool too, but I will always default to the N1. And while I wish this would have been an episode 1 N1, especially since we were just coming off the tail of episode 1's 25th anniversary, I'm okay with this one because I do like the way that the bigger set for this looked. I don't have the bigger set, but I like the N1 with the extra guns and like being all stripped down because I believe it was on Tatooine where he found it. I don't know. I didn't care that much to watch season 2. But anyways, it's part of the 4 Plus collection of big ships scaled down. So I wanted to get it for my collection. So still sealed. Gonna open it just like I did with the ATST and give my thoughts on it. It does show that the R4 unit is supposed to like be the one that does the refueling, but we all know that that tube's not going to do that. It's just going to bend and it's going to try to stay as straight as possible. So forgive me if I don't show off the functionality of that part once we get done with the build. Or maybe I will, I don't know. Oh, we got the nose cone separate, okay. And that's it. So we'll set that off to the side. And, oh, it looks like we're building the side pieces first instead of the main attraction. Whereas last time we built the ATST first. So I guess we'll set this to the side. Set that to the side. And we'll open bag number 1. And then we will bend this down just a little bit. That way everything is in view. And this time I'm going to pay attention to the order of which way a piece is supposed to be put, so I'm not redoing the legs again. So here we'll put a Grogu together. Goes on like that. I will say, as much as I don't like the character, or lack thereof, of Grogu, the little Lego figure is cute. It's just the baby body, but it's painted to be Grogu. But yeah, I like the little, and they've got like the detail of the head and stuff like that. They've gotten a lot better on doing the Yoda species heads over the years. So yeah, he still looks good. So we'll set him there. Oh, and we're okay. We will. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna break the rules yet again, and I'm gonna build the droid because I want to. Because I like R5-D4. I like R5-D4 a lot, and I was really happy that he was in this set. So there's that. All right, now we'll build the little pram. Okay, we'll put all the little gray pieces together. I find it interesting that the instructions have you do 1 and then 3 instead of like 2 and 2 or something. And we'll put the other white plate in and put a vent on each side. And the red bits. And then the telephone pieces. I know they're not the actual telephone pieces, but they still look like big telephone pieces, so. And then we put the square in the middle and the slopes both facing the same direction. Oh, and we don't get to see the little bit. We'll plop Grogu in there. There's our ginormously sized pram for our little Grogu. Doesn't look too bad. All right, we built the droid already, so we're fine there. Then we're gonna put this here, put that there. And then we put the top piece. We'll put that there. And then we attach this to this. We'll put that there. There we go. And then we'll bend that together and put it on top. Because that's obvious. Yep, that's the last piece. So there we go. There's our little refueling station. So we'll put those together, and we got one extra piece left over. Let's see, what were the other sets from this wave? Oh, we got our Arc 70, and we have Ahsoka's Jedi Starfighter, and then the big Grogu. Yeah. So there's that one. Whoop, there went the nose cone. Yeah. And then we got this. I'll move our extra piece to the side. And we'll open our second baggie. And our little baggie within the second baggie. There we go. Okay. Let's see the dark blades in the cockpit. Don't have to go hunting for that now. So we're gonna build Mando. So we got our legs, we got our body, which I am surprised we're getting the arm printed Mando in a 4+ set. That's rather generous. And then we have our jetpack. There it is. And then the head is somewhere in here. There's the helmet. Oh, there it is. There's our head with only one face on it, so we'll have that face forward. There we go. There's our Pedro Pascal. And then we got our helmet, which I'm so glad that they updated the helmet. I've also been collecting behind the scenes. I've been collecting all the microfighters, and I plan to do a very big video on that one day. And having both versions of the Mando helmet, the old one where everything was drooped down, and then this new one that has extra details on it. This one just looks so much better. It's really, really good looking. And then we'll give him, I see the lightsaber handle over here. And then we'll grab our blade. So there we go. There we have Din Djarin, or the Mandalorian, with his dark saber. So we'll stand him on this side. Okay. Which, it's funny having it face that way. Obviously, it makes sense for the build, but it's the same nose cone as the X-Wings, so having it face the opposite way is just funny for me. Okay, so we have our square with studs on front. There it is. Let's plop that right there. And then we've got a red brick as opposed to a Kubrick. And then we have this one with the vents going sideways, facing inwards. And then we do the same thing on the other side. If you hear noises in the background, that is the cat munching on goodies. All right, then we got these pieces that go here. And then we got a plate. And then we got a big rectangle piece. Okay, now we're going to build... Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is the back. Yeah, because this is where Grogu sits. Okay, yeah. All right, I guess it is going to go this way. And this is for the back. Okay, cool. I'm staring at the box, looking at the picture. And we're going to put the brown piece in there, so that way Grogu has no stability when he sits in. Because yes, I've watched videos before I was able to get this set and put it together. I've seen that Grogu does not stay secure in here. He just flops around when you turn the ship sideways. So, could have used one with a stud, but oh well. Let me put the ring around it. And then we got our cockpit side pieces. And then I'm assuming the data pad's going to be over here because it's a little piece. And it's also off-colored, so I could have found that a lot quicker. There we go. We have our control panel. Now we're going to build the back. Okay. So get this piece, get these ones. This right here. And then put this on the end. Then we'll slap that right here. There's the back of the ship done. All right, and I guess we're going to do a wing now. So we'll set that down. And it's also funny, that's the X-Wing nose cone. These are the X-Wing wings. So it is pretty much a return to form for the Star Wars 4+ sets, because we're just almost using the same X-Wing parts all over again. And then we've got our slope piece. Goes right here. And we got, I do like, at least for this, I don't know how true it is to the show or like the other, even the bigger builds. I do like little vestiges of the yellow from the original N-1 shining through. Oh, that's it. Okay, cool. I guess we'll do the thrusters at a later point. Yep, we're going to do the other wing next. I'm doing it slightly out of order. Man, the P-52 Mustang looks weird. All right, and then we got more slopey pieces. It really does just look like an airplane, like an airplane right here. And we'll get our final yellow piece. Then we have our clippy pieces. And then more slopes. And then we have a vent that goes right here. And then our printed piece for the set, aside from the control panel, which is the little engine cover, which I think also had guns coming out of the center, along with the ones that are going to go on the side. But yeah, those are our two printed pieces for the set. And then we get the black piece that goes right here. And then our nose cone, or nose topper, I guess. Okay, here's my biggest gripe with this set right here is each side only gets one connection point for the boosters, for the thrusters. So that means that they can spin on the side of the wing. There's no stability to them. That upsets me. And it was the same thing for the Anakin's N-1 microfighter. And they didn't do it for the microfighter for this ship, for Mando's version, but they did do it for Anakin's. And then they're doing it again here. I don't like the instability that these, because these only have one connection. It infuriates me. Like, I guess infuriate's like too strong of a word, but like it really bugs me because this is one of my favorite ships, and I don't want to like be swooshing it around and then like clip it or hit it with something and then the booster just spins. I don't like that. Each one of these, it's always one thing that just upsets me about it. But enough of my ramblings. We'll build the rest of the engines now. I'm just going to go ahead and plop them on here. I mean, it looks good. Looks great. I just would like one more little stud going in there. And they could have done it too. Like, you really could have just... That would have fit. That would have fit so perfectly. That lines right up. You could have done two. It would have actually made it a little longer and a little more... Because the thrusters, from my poor memory, they should be longer. It would have been fine. It would have worked. You don't need... You could have put another one of the little slope pieces in front to get that look. Oh, well, I guess that's what master building is for, is to make it look exactly how you want it. There, good enough. So let's blow past the page where we just did what we did. And now we get to put the guns on. Which I like that. I like that a lot. That was the one thing that like made me really want to get the big one, but I passed on it because there were other sets and other things I wanted. But I'm glad to have a representation of it here, and also in the microfighter, but I like these. I've always been a fan of the classic blaster look on the ships, and this just, you know, gives me that feeling again of, it's like, yeah, this could have come out back in 99 or 2000, but also at the same time, it's like an N-1 with gigantic guns attached to the sides. That's just cool. I like that. All right, now we're going to add the bubble. And then we're going to add the cockpit. And doth mine eyes deceive me? In our extra pieces, we get a second complete Darksaber. Huh. Usually whenever, like, I do Star Wars sets and it's got a lightsaber and it's like, yeah, we're going to get an extra lightsaber hilt. Never an extra blade. That's cool. So now I can give someone else a Darksaber. Awesome. And then we also have these pieces as extras. So I'll set those over there with the other extra piece. And then finish it out. Yep. And just telling you to put Mando in it. Just Mando. Only Mando gets to go in here. As far as the instructions are concerned. Because Grogu has his pram. Alright, cool. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and put Mando in it. Now I have to take away his Darksaber. Because there is no way he's going to be able to hold that in the cockpit. But this may have to be an AT-ST situation where I just plop them in there with him in their two component pieces. But yeah, there he is. There's Mando inside his N-1. And then just for completionist's sake, we will set Grogu down. Plop that back on top. That actually doesn't look too bad. Pity this is going to happen. Actually, he's not doing too... Oh, there it is. Now he's coming out. I was like, actually, he's going back in. Okay. I saw one person who they did it, and when he went back in, he went head first, which I thought was very funny. But yeah, Grogu, for me, and how I'm going to display these, Grogu's going to stay in his pram. R4 is just going to hang out with the little canister there. And Mando's going to stay in the N1. Now, for his Darksaber, I will split that in half. I'll put the blade right there. And we'll put the handle in his lap. And there we go. Got that in there. Which, yes, that'll flop around when I swoosh. But no much more than Grogu was going to do. So, it's fine. God, see, I just barely touched it and it flings. That is my only gripe with the set, is these. These are the only things that I would change. But other than that, I actually really like this set. It does look a little too, like, square and then quickly tapers off at the end. But that's fine. That doesn't bother me that much. Like, at least it's not like they only did this, which would have been a lot worse. That at least looks better. Doesn't look perfect, but it looks better. And then, yeah, this ship is obviously a lot blockier than an N1 should be, but that's coming with the territory. That they're using the big piece so they can save on the piece count and make it more accessible to a younger audience. That's fine. So it's like, yeah, that complaining about that part, that's a losing argument. This is the only thing I still say, like, because they've got the piece right here. Just do that in the darker gray. Get rid of this little slope. Put another, I guess, I don't know. There's a way you can do it. I know there's a way you can do it. More stability on this is the only thing I would change. But other than that, I actually really like this set. I like the way it looks. I like the little bits of yellow showing through in all of the gray and dark gray. I like having as far as I'm aware, a brand new R5, because he's got all the little greebling damage on his head and like the paint chipping on his doors. I think that I've heard that this is exclusive to this set, whereas like all the other R5s beforehand have just been like pristine, perfectly painted R5s. So I like that. I like R5 getting some love. And then I really have not a lot to say on this one. I don't care, to be perfectly honest with you. It looks fine. It looks good. It, you know, just a little micro build for a little micro figure. Looks fine. No complaints, no praises. How's that? Perfectly serviceable. But yeah, so that is that build all done. So in the grand scheme of things, let me amend my ranking, because I've been, in my last two videos, I beat on poor Poe's X-Wing a lot, even though that's one of the ones I've been having the most fun with. And I think that the fact that I'm having more fun with it has raised it in my rankings, and that really should be what I should be ranking these on. Is like, yeah, price point, yeah, you know, looks and like closer to the source material kind of thing. Like, that's whatever. Fun and playability should be how I should be ranking these things. And to be perfectly honest, I've been having a lot of fun with Poe's X-Wing, a lot more than the A-Wing back there. The A-Wing set is one of these sets that I haven't really wanted to pick up and swoosh around. And I touched on this in the first video. It's because of how they dealt with the cockpit and the pilot laying down. And I've seen that the new U-Wing does that as well. And I really wanted the new U-Wing because I didn't get the old one. But seeing that that's the case, where it's another cockpit where the pilot's laying flat instead of sitting upright, that kind of makes me not want to get it, even though it's a ship I don't have and would really want. That's a big detractor for me. I think those are dumb. But yeah, I still say Luke and the trench gun is the best set for money and for playability. Bar none. Best one. The Snowspeeder is still number 2. TIE Fighter is still number 3. I will have to give it to the ATST because there's still a lot more play value here. Just with the fact that there's 3 figures, you have 2 vehicles and the tree. That one, and I actually have to say, the N-1 and the ATST are kind of tied for 4th, and then I'm going to say this one is my number, I guess, 6, because since they're tied, there's no 5th, it's a 6th. And then the A-Wing is dead last, which really sucks for me because I like the A-Wing. It's a set with C-3PO, who is one of my favorite characters, but it's just with the pilot laying down, the secondary build not being all that interesting, really. Like, this one also is not that interesting, but you get 2 small builds as well as your 3rd character and then the ship, as opposed to a 2nd character, a very lackluster 2nd build, and the ship. I just don't have a lot of fun with the A-Wing. I honestly, even though this is just the ship and 2 figures and no extras whatsoever, I think this one is better than the A-Wing. It's been a couple years that I've had time to like stew on that and, you know, reevaluate. But honestly, I do say that Poe's X-Wing is better than the A-Wing. A-Wing is dead last for me, which sucks, but, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I say the N-1 Starfighter is as good as the AT-ST set. I know this one is, you know, kind of on the pricier side, just like the AT-ST was, but for both of these, you get a really good build, 2 secondary builds. I will say that this one is a better secondary build because it gives you more to play around with. but you also get the 3 characters. This one was 2 humans and an Ewok. This one is a human, a Grogu, and a droid. So at that point, it's a pick your poison. Which would you rather have? And then do you want ground battle or air battle? Well, actually, thinking about that, that's a battle pack. This is just a ship. I'm going to give it to the ATST. The ATST is you can have a good guy and a bad guy fight in just itself. This one is just a ship with 2 accompanying characters. For that one slight reason, I'm going to give it to the ATST. So, X-Wing, Snowspeeder, TIE Fighter, ATST, N-1, X-Wing, A-Wing. That's my ranking. Let me know what you think. I could be completely wrong in your eyes. I could be completely right. Or you could vary with me a little bit. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Leave me a comment. But I will be back with another video, hopefully sooner rather than later. But until then, I am Spider Prime 1, and I am signing off.